Coming up, it's a Chromebook that you'll flip for, 2 VR headsets with 2 very different purposes, and a studio quality mic for your iPhone. You gotta watch before you buy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Before You Buy is brought to you by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Before You Buy is brought to you by Audible.com. To download a free audiobook of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/beforeyoubuy. And by the Ring Video Doorbell. With Ring, you can see and talk to anyone at your door from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. It's like caller ID for your house. Right now, get free FedEx shipping when you go to ring.com/beforeyoubuy. Hello and welcome to Before You Buy. It's Twit's product review show where we take the latest and greatest gadgets and gizmos that we get here at the Brick House in Petaluma and we give them to the people who can give you the most honest reviews possible. Starting, of course, with, well, our news director, Mr. Mike Elgan. Mike, thank you very much for coming back on Before You Buy.
Love the show.
It's nice to have you here live. I feel like we can connect. And
I'm always alive. But
well,
sometimes
yes.
I'm recorded. So.
Sometimes you're recorded. Yeah. You're recorded live. But this is a different kind of recording that you've got. Right. You've got some sort of dash cam recording, yes. GP something S.
Now, if you've ever lived in Russia, or if you've ever seen YouTube, you've seen dash cams where people see crazy stuff, everything from meteor showers to, you know, insurance fraud. And this camera is going to give you a different kind of video than the kind you've seen on YouTube for the most part.
Of course, this is the Magellan. This is the MiVue 685 HD dash cam. We've seen a few of these.
658.
Or 658.
Yeah.
We've seen a few of these on the show before. And the idea is you have a suction cup mount so that you can put this onto your window, which
and it really sucks.
It really does. It really does. So it'll stay up there. It's not going to fall off because of vibration. Right. But, you know, then it just records everything you see out the front of your car?
Exactly, but it doesn't retain the recording. So basically what this does, in the case of this particular device, every 5 minutes or so, if you reach the maximum, the 8 gigabytes in the micro SD card, it deletes the oldest video and starts recording a new one. So it's constantly recording, and when you either press the magic button or if you get into an accident, it will not only record what happens the few seconds after that, but the seconds before that, which of course is great for an accident.
It's a pre-roll. So it's got an accelerometer in there that can detect a high G event, and it will say, oh, something happened, I better save this clip.
It's got 3 sensors actually, and it's very sensitive. So even if somebody like stands on your bumper, you'll be able to see who that was. It also, this is interesting, has a parking mode. So if you have a power supply, it'll continuously record all night, all day, even when your car is parked and turned off. Even if you don't have that power supply, it will actually it's always listening or feeling for that movement. And so if somebody crashes into your car on the side of the road, it'll wake up and start recording.
Got it. So it's smart enough to go into a low power mode, so it's not always pulling its full draw.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Now, of course, you can do it manually. You can push a button. You can also take a picture, a still photo. And again, it's 1080p video, so this is going to be a much better experience you're going to see in your typical dash cam. There it is. Yeah. It can go upside down. There's the camera. It's a really high quality video, and of course the screen is very high quality as well. Let's go ahead and turn that on. This doesn't have much battery because it's not. I don't have a car in the studio.
You said it's 8 gigabytes.
8 gigabytes, but you can replace it.
How much recording time before it loops over itself?
It's a lot. You can pretty much basically it shows you all the videos that are captured there. It's a few dozen actually. Oh, okay. It's really good. And it really doesn't matter that much because really what you do is this particular device, unlike the others in the Magellan MiVue line, this one has Wi-Fi.
Trying to simulate an accident. Yeah. I don't think it likes that.
I don't think.
Okay, and once it starts looping over, there's no way to get back the old recording, right? So if you're not going to use this as something to like live stream your life, you're essentially using this as a way to catalog events.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that's a little bit challenging now. Like I said, this has Wi-Fi that it uses to connect to your phone. So your phone connects to this device as if it were a Wi-Fi connection, and it swaps the video and picture, and it takes a while, and the app has to be open. So you can't be doing other things with your phone while it's downloading the video. So that's a constraint that prevents this from being something that's quick to use. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is when you get in an accident, if there's an event that's caused by the motion sensor, it will protect that video. So even if you continue recording video for weeks, it'll always protect the shots that were taken when there was an accident or some other event.
Okay, so that's not going to get erased when it rolls around. Oh, let's do some specs really quickly here. What kind of camera is in this thing? This is how big of a screen again?
It's a 1080p camera. It records a 1080p video. This is a Sony sensor, actually.
Oh, nice.
And the quality of the video recording, again, is very high. It's a very wide angle lens. You get the whole, like almost to the size of the car. And the screen itself will actually enable you to show videos on it, but the screen is it's a tiny screen, 2.7-inch touch screen, and it will show you low quality version of the video, but when you look at it on your phone or on a computer, it's very high quality.
That's got me a little concerned though, because this is also a GPS unit, which is what we would typically attach to our windshields.
Right.
This seems to be a tiny little screen. I don't know if I'd want this as a GPS.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't. Now you'd notice on that video, in the lower right-hand corner, it records all kinds of data, which is really fantastic. The time, the date, the speed, and the exact location at every moment. And so this is fantastic for all kinds of things. Of course, people always think of dash cams as, wow, I can record some crazy thing that happens, or I can record accidents. You can also do vlogging, because guess what? This thing spins around, this swivels on this little thing, and you can point it toward the inside of the car.
I don't know if I want to do that while I'm driving.
But if you are going to record video while you're driving, this is the safe way to do it. Especially if you have a passenger and you're recording a conversation, you have the passenger roll the video, and you have a sound mode, so you can either choose to have the sound on or off.
I see one problem with that, though. If I'm going to be recording myself and I turn the camera to myself, it means I no longer can see what the camera is looking at.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's an option. It's an option for somebody. You can also do all kinds of things, like you can, Magellan themselves suggest that you record your road trips, little, sunsets, things like that. You can actually use it more creatively than just for accidents and problems. You can capture license plates. Somebody cuts you off, you can just take a quick picture of their license plate or a video, whatever, but it's high enough resolution that even if the car is pretty far away, you'll be able to read the numbers on that license plate. You can dispute traffic tickets. So let's say, for example, you get pulled over, you can hit the video and it will record your speed, where you were, all that kind of information. And then after you pull over, you can swivel the camera and record the entire interaction with the police officer. And hopefully you have a great, nice, professional police officer.
Can you play back on the unit and say, hey, officer, I want to show you my speed?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yes, you can. And it shows you the speed at all times. So the default mode when you're just driving around, you're not interacting with it, it just shows the miles per hour.
Right.
And it's essentially a second opinion. Presumably your car has that feature as well.
Mike, let me ask you about this. One of the issues with these devices has been there's less and less of a call for a dedicated GPS, because the GPS on my phone is typically way more accurate, way more up to date. The only time I ever have to really worry about it, because I did do a review of a Magellan versus Google Maps over the summer, is if I have no connectivity. That's when a standalone GPS really does hold its weight.
Right.
Is this just an attempt to make this device, well, useful again?
I think it is, although this is not useful as a GPS per se. It doesn't have a whole GPS mode. It doesn't do even a fraction of what your phone does with Google Maps or something like that. So it's really just a dedicated camera that happens to also, yes, capture GPS information and speed and stuff like that. So that's what it's using the GPS for. So no, you'd still want to use your phone or whatever. And of course, in my case, I got this mounted on the window. I've got my phone mounted on the dashboard. I've got a lot of information. I'm pushing the envelope in terms of distraction. And none of that stuff is particularly good. It's better to just have the watch telling me where to go. Okay, break it down for me. Give me the pros and the cons of the Magellan 658 Dashcam. Yeah, so okay, this is a $250 camera essentially, and you might be worried that it'll fall off the window. It will not. That suction cup is really great, so it's on there very solid. You might also be worried to have a device, a consumer electronics device, that's in your hot car in the direct sunlight all the time. And will it be damaged? Will it fade? And the answer is no. It's extremely durable, very durable.
That's what it was designed for.
Exactly. Okay. It's very easy to use. It's very small and compact. Plugs into your cigarette lighter. Now the cigarette lighter cable This bad boy right here it's got to be like 12 feet long. It's super. So if you
can put it in the trunk.
If your 12-volt receptacle is in the back, you can just snake it through the car, and it's long enough. The video is great in all conditions. So it looks great in direct sunlight. It's got an anti-glare feature in the camera. It looks great at night when the light is very, very low. Just simple headlights will illuminate everything. You'll get great video in all conditions. So let's talk about the cons. The app has to be open, as I said, and selected when you're downloading the video, and it takes a while. These are pretty big videos. And so a typical video, if you just let it record automatically, it'll give you a video of like 10, 15 seconds. That will take you probably 15 minutes to download
10,
to your
15
phone.
seconds, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It takes a while, and the whole time you can't use your phone for anything else, otherwise it stops the download and you have to start over. So that's a con. It's a serious con. I would love to see this device, since it does support Wi-Fi, as I pull up to my house, connect to the Wi-Fi in my house, automatically upload everything that it's got to the cloud. I would love that feature. I would also, barring that, love it to auto-upload to my phone via Wi-Fi. I got the maximum storage on my iPhone. I would like that as well. Unfortunately, those options are not there, and so it's a little bit of a pain to get those videos.
All right, bottom line it for me. So we've heard the pros, we've heard the cons. Is this a try, a buy, or a don't buy?
This is a definite buy. I really like this product. Now, just so you're not confused about what Magellan is selling, they have 4 of these in this line. There's the 508, the 538, the 638, and this one, the 658. The 658 is the only one with Wi-Fi. So I was complaining about the speed of the Wi-Fi, but I'd much rather have Wi-Fi than not Wi-Fi.
Than having to pull out the card.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. No, the other thing about the card I should have mentioned, by the way, the little micro SD card, it actually has a utility on the card. So if you have a Windows PC, you can plug that thing into your Windows PC, and the utility itself will give you a viewer and a manager for looking at your videos and pictures that are on the card. So yes, this is a definite buy. And again, if you've seen the Dashcam videos on YouTube, this will give you fantastic quality. And it's very easy to use, and I highly recommend it.
There you have it. It is a buy for the Magellan MiVue 658 HD Dashcam. If you are looking for a way to tape your trips and perhaps catch people who are doing bad things to your vehicle, this may be it. We want to thank Mike for being here. Of course, you can find Mike every weekday.
Right over there.
Right over there, the news desk, which is not too far away from us, for Tech News Today. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning, right?
That's right.
Every weekday. Where else can I get you? Because I know that you're pretty prolific on the interwebs.
Yeah, you can go to elgan.com. It's a good place. You find me on Google+, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for my name.
Mike, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, let's go ahead and change gears from dash-mounted webcams that can record accidents and people jumping off your bumper to something that records something a bit more refined, a bit more meaty, a bit more, well, Leo. We gave Leo the Shure Motiv MV88. It's a professional microphone for an iPhone, and well, this is what he found.
Hi, Father Robert. Hello, everybody. I got a new product I want to review. It comes in a really cool case, doesn't it? It looks like a, I don't know what that looks like, but this is something I've been looking for. This is the holy grail of audio. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad and you have a lightning port, and this is true of the old 30-pin port, you're able to record digitally on this device. You know, this is a microphone port, and you can record analog audio into the microphone port, but it's not as high quality, and you're limited by the converter, the digital or the analog to digital converter built into the iPad. So Shure's come up with a great solution. This is, I've tried a few others. There's the iMic. There's a number of companies that make these. But I have to say, Shure, which has made the really great microphones for years, has come up with the solution as far as I'm concerned. This is part of a new series of microphones from Shure called the Motiv, M-O-T-I-V series. Designation is MV. So you've probably all heard of the Shure, the SM58, one of the greatest microphones of all time, used in nightclubs and by punk bands forever. Shure knows how to make microphones. Now, unlike the SM58, which is a great dynamic microphone, this is a condenser microphone. And you've probably heard me talk about condensers versus dynamic. I'm using right now a dynamic microphone, Howell PR40, and I really like the sound of dynamic microphones. But condenser microphones are smaller. They're much more sensitive. And for things like recording a concert, you really have to use a condenser mic for speeches. And what I'm really excited about, especially with the new iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, with its high-quality video capability and this microphone, it's all you really need to make, you know, great, high-quality 4K videos. So I'm going to show it to you on the iPad, and it'll work on any iOS device that has a Lightning connector. It's a little bit bulky. You see there's a base here, and this connects right into the bottom like that. Now, the Motiv series has other microphones that have cables, so you don't have to do it that way, but you can. And then you'll want to download and launch the Motiv software. When you first launch it, it's going to say a funny thing. It would like access to the microphone. That means the microphone built into the iPad, but don't fear, that doesn't mean it's going to use that microphone. It's only if you don't have the MV88, that's what we're reviewing today, plugged in. So I'm going to say okay. That means you can use the Motiv recording software even if you don't have this fancy microphone. About $150. Now notice there's a couple of things that are unique. First of all, there's two mics in here, a left and a right. And also this rotates so you can point the microphones in the direction you want. But let's get really fancy, because the MV software also allows you to change settings on this microphone. So it says make sure to put the device in do not disturb in airplane mode. That's just so it won't go boop, beep. I could just record, and you'll see I'm going to get a stereo recording out of the microphone. Hello? Oh, I need to turn up the mic gain. Look at, yeah, you have controls for mic level on here. You also have a DSP built in here that allows you to, I'll save that recording, allows you to change the settings for the device. So there we go. Now I'm getting levels on this thing. I just hadn't turned this on. Once you've got this, let's take a look at the settings. This is a mind blower. You can change how wide angle it is. And of course, if you want it to be directional, let's say you're recording a concert, you wouldn't want to have as much of the audience sound. You can make it narrow. Or you're recording a panel of 4 people, you can make it wider. But even better, let's go to advanced mode. There's an equalizer. There is, you could switch left and right microphones. You could turn on wind reduction. And I really like this. And I don't know if you can see this very well, but it has different patterns. This is what they call a cardioid pattern because it's heart-shaped. That means it records in a kind of a heart-shaped omnidirectional. Can you see that? Let me put it over here. This is a great one. They call this mono bidirectional. It means you will use the top part of the microphone for kind of noise cancellation, and you'll project left and right. This would be an interview mode, for instance. So I'd aim the microphone so that I, as the person holding the iPhone or iPad, I'm on the left here, and the person I'm interviewing is on the right, and it would reject noise out here. Isn't that great? By the way, the quality is superb. Here's an interesting one. They call it raw mid-side. Don't know what that means, but look at the pattern. I guess that'll give you some idea. So these are presets. Once you set the microphone, by the way, it'll store that setting in here, so you don't have to set it again. It'll remember the setting, even if you're not using Motiv. And that's an important thing, too. You can use any recording app, including the voice memo app, to record with this microphone. So you don't have to launch the Motiv software. But best of all, the quality is phenomenal. This is much better than the built-in microphone, much better than any microphone that you would plug into the microphone jack. And if you're in a video recording mode, in fact, let's do that right now. It'll record. Go to video and start recording. It'll record, you know, great quality audio while you're doing an interview. I mean, this is ideal for somebody who wants to make his own podcast, record a video. If you're out on a street scene, you can point it more in a omnidirectional fashion like that, and get the left and right sound of a streetcar going by.
We're at a big show, a big conference, and there's people all around talking like crazy.
I really love the products I've made. They're all awesome.
You'll have to take it for granted when I tell you the sound quality on this thing is phenomenal. Is as good as a studio quality microphone. And part of the reason is you're going digitally right into the iPad. It's a digital recording device using an A to D converter that's built into this microphone. And Shure has done a very good job with the analog input to digital output converter, the A to D converter on this. It's excellent. Comes with a big old wind shield like that, which makes it look a little bit silly. Now, really, in a way, I'm reviewing more than just this MV88 because Shure makes a whole Motiv line of microphones, all of which use the Motiv software so you can control the DSP, the conversion, how it's recording. And some of them are more useful for different settings because they have a wire that goes to the lightning port. So you could put them on a table. You could use it in a setting like this, for instance, or record a speech. But for recording concerts, for filming out in the field where you don't want to carry around or hold out a microphone, but you just have it all, want to have it a part of the iPhone or iPad, this is really a really great setup. I just think it's fantastic. Highly recommended. Let's talk about the pros and cons. On the pro side, pro quality audio, really good audio from these dual condenser mics, left-right stereo, and also a pro, the software, which gives you real control over the pattern. There are few microphones you can do that with, and I think that's a very, very nice feature. On the downside, it's a little expensive. It's $150, although for a microphone, that's not a horrible price. I'm not crazy about condenser mics, but of course, that's the only thing that would work in a situation like that, so I guess I really shouldn't call that a negative. And at least in the case of the MV88, and another negative, could be a positive, is it has to connect directly into the iPad or the iPhone. Again, that's great if you're out in the street and you want to make a movie. Not so great if you want to record a concert surreptitiously. Don't mind me. I'm just, I like to look at my iPad while I'm listening to the show. But I think, you know, you would probably get the other Motiv, the one that has the cable, if you want to do that, and put it in your hat. Okay, just saying. Pros and cons, very few cons. I mean, this really is a great little device. I'm very excited. I've always, you know, whenever I get a new form factor cable on an iOS device, I'm looking for a digital mic, a mic that will do the A to D conversion out, or the D to A conversion outside of the tablet or the phone. And this one is the best one I've ever used. The Shure MV88, $150. It's a definite buy. And you should be expecting more videos from me, maybe even at CES and NAB. Back to you, Robert.
It's a buy for the Shure Motiv MV88 from Leo Laporte. I got to say, he tested that mic out here in the studio in several different places, up on the iOS Today stage, on the news desk, in his office, and everyone who heard the recording was impressed. It's not just another attachment that you snap onto your iOS device. It's the real deal. If you are looking for high quality audio, audio that Leo Laporte, our radio man, likes, you got to check it out. Now, when we come back, we're going to be taking a look at a toy. Well, it's kind of a toy, but not really. It's the next level of technology, but yeah, it's a toy. But before we do that, let's go ahead and thank the first sponsor of this episode of Before You Buy. And I am so happy to have back on the show, Audible. Now, what is Audible? Audible is a source for 180,000 different titles that you can get in high quality audio. I listen to Audible all the time because I have a decent commute. It's about an hour to an hour and a half each way when I have to come into the Brick House from San Francisco, and that's my listening of choice. Now, the book that I have listened to literally 30 times, 30, 40 times, I could probably go into my Audible stats and check out exactly how long I've listened to it, is The Martian. Now, if you have at all listened to the news, you know that The Martian, the movie adaptation, is huge in theaters right now. It's the story of Mark Watney, an astronaut who gets stranded on Mars and everything he must do to stay alive, Robinson Crusoe style. It's not just a great movie. It's not just a great book. It is a fantastic audiobook. In fact, I will go on record as saying, if you liked the movie, if you liked the book, you have to listen to the audiobook because it adds a whole new dimension to the story, and it's timeless. Who doesn't like to see geeks make good? Now, Audible.com is a leading provider of audiobooks, and you are going to love their titles because it goes across all genres. Do you want fiction? Do you want something like Ready Player One, which was my former favorite book? Do you want a biography of Elon Musk? You'll be able to find it in Audible.com. Now, to download an audiobook for free, because that's what Audible is going to do for you as a listener of Before You Buy, all you have to do is go to audiblepodcast.com/beforeyoubuy. That's audiblepodcast.com/beforeyoubuy. That's right. Go to that link, and because you are a listener of this Twitch show, they'll let you try one for free. And again, I would suggest The Martian by Andy Weir. That's audiblepodcast.com/beforeyoubuy. And we thank Audible for their support before you buy. Let's get some toys. Well, really all technology is toys to real geeks. But we've got a review here from Jason Howell, who got his hands on a Mattel Viewmaster. This is what he thought.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jason Howell, and I got to spend a little bit of time with Mattel's new toy. That's right, we have Mattel on Before You Buy, but it's the Viewmaster. That's right, we have the Viewmaster on Before You Buy, but it's a Viewmaster VR viewer. That's why it's here. It's actually a pretty cool little device. It's $29.99. There's no actual technology inside of here. It is pretty much just a VR case for your device running the with cardboard compatibility. But let's take a look at it here. You can see anyone who's familiar with Mattel's kind of Viewmaster line. I know when I was a kid, I had a Viewmaster. I used to love it. This is kind of Mattel revamping the Viewmaster line to bring it into the modern age. And I think they did a pretty darn good job of bringing a little bit of that kind of 80s plasticky quality to the visor here. You've also got the little slider, which mimics the slider button that you had on the old school Viewmaster. Actually, the action on it feels very similar to that, but very cool. This is designed to be used, Mattel says, for 7 and up, 7 years of age and up. That's because of the software that they include has a lot of text built into it. So any younger than that, and they might have a hard time kind of keeping up with the stuff you're going to see. And I'll show that off in a second. And Mattel also stresses that this is optically safe for children. You're putting a screen right up against their eyes. Mattel says that's not a problem. But as far as the hardware is concerned, very tight piece of kit here. It's big, easy to hold. It's very hard to drop. And actually it has this little wrist strap that you can kind of put your hand in just in case you're afraid that you're going to drop it to the ground. So that's a nice inclusion. It doesn't have a head strap, and some VR, really nice VR solutions have a head strap so that you can let your hands go. So you can see I'll put it up to my face. I had to hold it like this the entire time. That can get a little tiring. But again, Mattel kind of says you're not intended to be wearing this for hours on end. You're probably going to play with it for like 20 minutes at a time, and it's probably okay for that. The button action, like I said, it's tight. This is a mechanical button, and actually I'll pop it open here so you can see on the inside what it's doing. When you hit this button, it's actually moving that little part right there. And essentially what it's doing is it's tapping the touch screen in a particular zone, and that's how it registers a button press in the app, which is kind of neat. But it's mechanical, so it feels pretty solid. It's not going to fall apart, hopefully. And let's see here. So this is the attachment component. This fits up to, Mattel says, 6-inch devices, most 6-inch devices, and all of the major devices are going to fit in here. My Nexus 6, which is about the outside range of what fits in here, you can see it just kind of slid in there pretty nicely. If you have a much smaller device, this is a little adapter that you can slide in that kind of bridges the gap so that you can fit a smaller device. I'm not really quite sure what devices those would be, but they've included that, and that's kind of nice. You can also see down here is a little speaker grill. That's because the front-facing speakers on my Nexus 6 go right into that, so you can hear it through the bottom, and it does a pretty okay job. The downside to this, of course, is that when you close this up, there's no port access on either side. So if you want to get super immersive with your VR experience, you're not going to be able to get that here. You're locked down to using the speaker inside the device, so it's a little bit louder to people that aren't watching what you're watching in the VR environment, and a little bit less immersive as far as that's concerned. Let's see here, nose cutout right here. I did find this to be a little uncomfortable. I kind of wish that they had added a little bit of a kind of like a squishy quality to this. It's slightly rubberized, but when you've got it pressed up against your face for long periods of time, the nose, I don't know, it pinches right into the bridge of your nose, and that can kind of get a little painful over time. It's a minor gripe, but maybe in the next version of this Viewmaster, they'll do that. And then finally, it's big, broad plastic piece of gear here, super easy to clean. And I can tell you from experience, when you have kids, if you're buying them something, you want to make sure that you can clean it and keep it in tip-top shape. And also, by the way, it survives a drop. You're putting a pretty expensive phone in here, and Mattel says that this passes their standard kid-safe drop tests, even with a phone inside. So it's meant for kids, absolutely. All right, so the second component of the Viewmaster is this this is essentially, kind of looks a lot like in the old school Viewmaster, the reels with the film that you would actually view on them. Here, it's a lot less important. It's basically a platform for using to sync up with their included software so that you can cast augmented reality objects onto it. And really, in the beginning, it's just kind of serves as a menu more than anything. You can also kind of put objects down there in a 3D environment and rotate them around. And I'll attempt to kind of show that off here. I don't have direct access to these apps into our editing system, but I can kind of show it off to you outside of here. So experience reel, that's what this is. This is an experience reel. I'll go ahead and say that I have that. It'll bring me through. It says it wants to pair with the device, and you can kind of see it's working on that now, but I'll go ahead and open it so that you can see more of what it's actually doing. There we go. It kicks into gear. It's going to start to do a pass-through on my camera and look for that. Now you can see, like, this is the space pack. So I've got a little shuttle essentially parked in the middle there. I can rotate this around and move it around and stuff, and that shuttle will go with me. So that's kind of a neat little visual trick. And when you've got the viewer on your, right up on your eyes, it's kind of neat. It feels a little gimmicky. On some of the other software, it acts more as like a menu system, so you can choose where you want to go. Space, for the most part, is kind of limited. This is the space pack. Each of these sets, there's space, world travel, and wildlife, costs $15 extra a piece. And as you can see, like space, for example, you're surrounded by all of these space objects. You can select to go into them and look all around them and rotate all around them and everything. And it's kind of hard to show with this camera, but you get the idea. There really isn't a whole lot more to it. I found $15 to be pretty darn expensive considering what you actually get. And they are completely optional because this is a cardboard, standard Google Cardboard viewer. And there's tons of excellent cardboard apps and content and videos you can watch on YouTube that are cardboard compatible, all that stuff for free, if not dirt cheap, compared to $15 a piece for these experience packs, which I just kind of found to be kind of a waste of money for the most part. It's kind of neat, but younger kids are going to have a hard time keeping up with some of them because there's, kind of text heavy, and older kids are just going to get bored of them really quick because there just really isn't a whole lot of content in there. While that kind of loads up, not very deep, and I'll show you this real quick because I think this is where it uses it as a menu for the most part. All right, took a little bit of trying, but I got there. Here's the Safari AR piece. A little difficult to see in this viewer, but essentially this is a menu and I can choose one of 3 different places to go. Once it locks in, you can see it's kind of tricky, kind of fiddly, but it has a little bit of a neat 3D quality to it, but not $15 neat. I guess that's my point here. So that is the Viewmaster, the Mattel Viewmaster cardboard viewer. For the pros, I definitely say nostalgia is high on the list here. If you ever had one of these before, really like the old design, there's a lot to like here. Very sturdy, kid-friendly design. It's not like the flimsy kind of cardboard viewers that you'll find that'll tear really easily. This is meant for kids, and that's definitely a plus. Easy to clean, very easy to clean all throughout. And it fits most phones, all the way up to 6-inch devices, and I think that that's a pretty big selling point considering how tight the package is. As far as the cons, I'd say the nose cutout, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but you get over it quick. No wired headphone access, I'd say, is kind of a big bummer in my opinion. No head strap, although it never said that it included one, and the old school one never had a head strap, so that's not a big deal. And the experience packs, definitely not worth $15 a piece. So don't worry about it. If you just get this for the viewer, that's okay. And I would say that that's probably my advice here. If you, at the end of the day, my verdict is definitely a buy for the hardware. I think this is a perfect gift idea for a kid, maybe a stocking stuffer or something coming up here at Christmas, but don't worry about the software. The software, definitely a not buy. That is my review of the Mattel Viewmaster here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. You can check out my reviews on Before You Buy here, as well as my other show all about Android. I'll see you there.
And it's a buy for the Mattel Viewmaster from Jason Howell. As he said, the software might be a bit pricey, but for that hardware in that class with that kind of construction, it might be second to none. If you're looking for a way to jump into cardboard without it actually having to be as weak as cardboard, the Viewmaster may be for you. We thank Jason Howell. Of course, you can find him here on the TWiT TV network for All About Android on Tuesday nights. And of course, for the Android App Arena, as well as behind the scenes on so many of the popular shows here on TWiT TV. Now let's go ahead and move away from the toys because we want to give you something that could be used for real business. We decided to give a Chromebook to Megan Morrone. Specifically, we gave her the Asus Chromebook Flip C100 to see if this iOS expert might be interested in something from the dark side. And this was what she found.
I'm Megan Morrone, and I host Tech News Today, iOS Today, and i5 for the iPhone. At the end of this month, I will be able to order the iPad Pro, a 12.9-inch Retina screen tablet with 5.6 million pixels and 1.8 times the CPU performance of the fastest current iPad. The device will start at $799 and go all the way up to $1,079. Apple also showed off a keyboard and a stylus that will both cost extra. The keyboard will set you back $169 and the stylus is another $100. For the most expensive version, you're looking at $1,348. Along with its line of popular Surface tablets, Microsoft recently announced the Surface Book. That's a laptop with a detachable screen that functions as a tablet. This pretty little device is designed to resemble a book with a curved hinge like the spine of your favorite novel. With a 13.5-inch screen and running Windows 10 Pro, the Surface Book is the first hybrid that will run the same operating system as our laptops and desktops. The pen is extra, but unlike the Surface Pro and the iPad Pro, the keyboard is included. It ships at the end of October and starts at $1,500. Now, if you are balking at those high prices, there are other options. Here's what you can get for the low price of about $250. It's the Asus Chromebook Flip, a laptop with a 360-degree hinge that features a touchscreen. It comes with 100 gigabytes of Google Drive storage for 2 years. It weighs less than 2 pounds and runs the Chrome OS, which can be limiting depending on what you're planning to use it for. Now, this little guy is not going to win any speed tests, but if the Chrome OS offers what you need, this is a decent buy, especially for kids, students, and frequent travelers who are already enmeshed in the Google Chrome Android environment. Here are the 4 ways you can use it: as a laptop, as a tablet, as a stand, or as a tent. Let's start with battery life, which I think is its best feature. Asus promises 9 hours, and it delivered. This exceeds the battery life of some of the other comparable Chromebooks on the market. Now, connection and speeds. I had no problem streaming videos or browsing the web. The laptop supports dual-band 802.11 AC Wi-Fi and connects to all your Bluetooth devices. The little device is surprisingly good looking for the price. The all-metal brushed aluminum chassis is shiny and well-built. When I flipped it around to use it as a tablet, I was never afraid of it breaking. One complaint I did have is that it was a little bit small for my lap, and I don't even have a very big lap. If you're going to use this to watch movies from the Google Play Store or videos on YouTube, you won't be disappointed by the speakers. They're fairly good. There are a decent amount of ports, 2 USBs, a headset jack, a micro HDMI port, and a micro SD card slot. Now, it's kind of silly to compare my $2,000 MacBook Pro with Retina display to this under $300 device, but I will anyway. The real difference is comfort. When I use the Chromebook all day to surf the web and write my scripts, I felt it at the end of the day. Now, we use Google Docs and Google Sheets for a lot of our work at TWiT, so I've often wondered how easy it would be to switch to a Chromebook. What I found was that although the touchpad is large, the keyboard was cramped and small, even smaller than some similar devices of its size. It doesn't give, and it's kind of uncomfortable. Couple that with the tiny screen, and you have to question if the cheap price is worth it for you if you're going to be spending all day typing on this device. You never ever forget that it's only 10 inches. Now, obviously, the display resolution is lower than the MacBook, but it's also lower than a lot of Chromebooks that I've tried. Let's start with the pros. Price. Now, go for the slightly more powerful model and with more memory. It's definitely worth it. Everyone is telling us that we need a tablet laptop hybrid, but maybe you want to try a cheap one before you invest over $1,000 in the Surface Pro or the iPad Pro. The look is definitely a pro. The Chromebook Flip has a nice, attractive design. The weight, you can't beat under 2 pounds for portability. And the battery life, you don't have to worry about running out of juice. Here are the cons. The keyboard is cramped, kind of uncomfortable to use for long periods. The screen is small. It's not as fast even than other Chromebooks. It's designed so that you're always holding the keys in the tablet mode, which I couldn't get used to no matter how long I used it. For kids, students, and others who don't do a ton of typing, and for those who want to dip their toes in the waters of the tablet-laptop hybrid world, I would definitely give this a buy. Back to you, Padre.
It's a buy for the Asus Chromebook Flip C100. Now, if we're getting a buy recommendation from a person who is really mired in the iOS/OS X market, you know that it's got to have good points. Now, let's be honest, a Chromebook isn't for everyone, but as Megan expertly pointed out, if this is the kind of tool that you want, this is a great tool to have. Of course, you can find Megan Morrone here on the TWiT TV network every weekday at 4 o'clock p.m. for Tech News Tonight, as well as iOS Today and i5 for the iPhone. She really is, well, one of the people who actually works really hard here at the TWiT TV network. Don't tell her I told you that. When we come back, we're going to show you a different AR/VR related product. But before we do that, let's go ahead and thank the second sponsor of this episode of Before You Buy, and it's the Ring Video Doorbell. Now, what is the Ring Video Doorbell? It would be really easy to say that it's a doorbell because, I mean, you push the button and it sounds like a doorbell. But it's really way more than that. The Ring Video Doorbell is a peace of mind. Oh, this is what you get inside the kit. When you order a Ring Video Doorbell, not only do you get the doorbell, but you get all the tools to install it. Everything from the drill bits to the handles to the level that allows you to make sure it's installed properly. Now, this is the unit itself. And the way it works is really simple. There's a back plate that allows you to take the wires that go to your current doorbell and give that power to the unit so that you'll never have to charge it. It runs off of your house power. But if you don't have that, if it's a brand new installation, or if you have one of those doors that, well, just doesn't have access to power, you just need to charge with a micro USB cable, and this is good to go for a year. Now, what does it do for that year? It connects to your home's Wi-Fi network, and anytime someone comes within range of the motion detection or rings the doorbell, it will allow you to use it like a caller ID system. Someone rings the doorbell, you get a notification on your phone that someone is ringing, and you can start a call and speak to that person, be it the package delivery person or the gardener or a friend or family member who's come to visit, or someone who's just trying to find out whether or not you're home so that they can steal everything you own. The Ring Video Doorbell is a caller ID system. It was voted Time Magazine's one of the best gadgets of 2014, and I gotta tell you, I agree with them. I agree with them so much that I ordered one of these for my family, for my parents who are in Las Vegas. I was a little worried that, well, they had some crime going on, people who were casing joints, so I installed a Ring Video Doorbell at the house. And this is how the application works. So this is the Ring Video Doorbell that I've got installed for my parents. I've got all of these little events. These are motion events that it picked up. Not people who rang, but people who came into the front courtyard. Now, this is a man who Brian and I have seen several times. This is our next door neighbor who, for some reason, for the longest time, kept coming up to the house, plugging in his extension cords and powering his house's devices from my parents' home. Now, you know, we're gonna have a talk with him, but it's not gonna be a he said, she said. It's gonna be one of these things where we actually have video proof. We can download this from the cloud to our devices, bring it over there and say, look, you can't do that, okay? We want to be good neighbors. You can borrow a cup of sugar. You can't borrow $600 worth of electricity. This is the kind of thing you get with the Ring Video Doorbell. It's security, it's peace of mind, and it's just a nice way to say, hey, you come to my house, I know that it's you. Right now, because you are members of the TWiT audience, you can prevent burglaries before they happen by going to ring.com/beforeyoubuy, and you'll get free FedEx shipping. That's ring.com, ring.com/beforeyoubuy. With Ring, you're always home. And we thank the Ring Video Doorbell for their support of Before You Buy. Now, let's go ahead and head over to Las Vegas, where my Ring Video Doorbell is installed, and poke our heads into Interdrone. While we were there, we got a chance to look at a virtual reality product that's also AR for your drone that flies in the VR. I'm sure there was something there for me to go, but no, Brian, just push the button. Drone pilots know that a lot of our products are built to use these, our smartphones. I mean, it's a supercomputer in our pocket. Why not use these beautiful screens and this connectivity in order to get a view into what our drone sees? Now, that works well, except when you have bright sunlight, like you would if you're outdoors, or when your phone doesn't quite give you the view that you need, which is why we're here at Zeiss taking a look at the VR1. I'm here with Ms. Tyndall, who's going to explain why Zeiss has the perfect accessory for your drone and your smartphone. What exactly is this?
This is called Zeiss Vr1. So these are actually virtual reality goggles, and we're here at Interdrone demonstrating how you can use this product for FPV.
Now, this is not unlike, say, Google Cardboard. The difference, of course, is that you've got a specific app that helps to deliver the content in the format that you need. And, of course, you've got this beautiful housing so that I don't have to worry about, well, my VR goggles falling apart. Tell me a little bit about what this does and how I use it.
Okay, so the difference between this and the Google Cardboard, this is a Google Cardboard style product. It is made of a polycarbonate, so you're right, it's going to hold up if you're out in moist conditions, which is perfect. It does operate from your smartphone. The other difference with this product is that we have Zeiss Lenses in the product. So for those people that know Zeiss as a company, we've been in business for 160 years. We're an optics company. We make lenses, and that's what we've really brought to the table in this product. So we have a superior viewing experience. This product utilizes your smartphone. So we have a tray system in which the smartphone goes right into the product. That is, your video display monitor is your smartphone, slides in, and it gives you a beautiful picture with 100-degree field of view.
Of course, the Zeiss quality was what drew us to your booth, because we all know Zeiss. We know that you make great lenses. And also, having used a lot of these products, I can tell you that there's nothing like a bad lens destroying your flight experience. If the optics are no good, it's going to be fuzzy. There is one other thing that your product does that I really, really like, and that is you've addressed the problem of having your FPV goggles and then no longer being able to see during takeoff and having to take them on and off. We don't have to do that with the VR1 because you've built a feature into your app. Tell us about that.
It's an app called Light Fpv, so we've partnered with this app developer. And the way that app operates is it actually gives us the ability with our control unit to have a view through the front screen using the camera on your smartphone. So just by pushing a button, we can now see through the front of the goggle, and we have line of sight.
Oh. Now, here's the big question for our audience, and that is availability and price. If they wanted to pick up a VR1, where do they go, how much will they pay, and when can they do it?
The product is currently available. It started shipping in December this past year, so it is currently available on the market. The retail cost on the product is $129, and you can purchase it from vr1.us.
There you have it. If you're looking for a VR experience from your drone, something to tinker with, something to take it to the next level, you got to stop by Zeiss. Thank you very much for talking to us, and thank you for your time here at Interdrone.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's all the time we have for this episode of Before You Buy. We want to thank all of our reviewers for their excellent, unbiased reviews, especially to Leo Laporte, to Jason Howell, to Mike Elgan, and of course, to Megan Morrone. We couldn't do the show without them. Speaking of people we couldn't do the show without, we want to thank Leo and Lisa for letting us do Before You Buy, and our super producer Carson, as well as our spectacular TD, Mr. Brian Cranky Hippo Burnett. Brian, could you tell the folks where they can find you on the Twit TV network?
Well, they can find me on Thursdays doing Know How with you, and actually check out tomorrow on the Screensavers, because I also TD that show.
Oh, go figure. Don't forget that we do this show live every Friday around 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time or so. Just go to live.twit.tv and you'll be able to find our live feed. And as long as you're watching live, jump into the chat room at irc.twit.tv and give us real-time feedback so that we can interact with you. Until next time, I'm Father Robert Ballecer reminding you that you gotta watch before you buy.